This is ReplicantPhish. Welcome back. Glad you could join me again. Loneliness. Loneliness is a dangerous thing. Loneliness is so powerful. One could die from it, lose their minds from it, or lose the ability to communicate with other human beings because of loneliness. Now, with this video, I want to make the point of men who are lonely, but they are lonely through realization as to what is out there for them to date. Thus, many of them understand that being a single man is not only safer, but it makes far more sense. You know, it is somewhat disheartening as a man to know that two of the most important things you may want in your life, a woman, a wife, whatever, and to have children, the sad thing is how those things can be used against you as a man. So for reasons such as that and many other reasons, many men find that being single makes more sense and it's actually more practical. That will get yourself stuck with a crazy chick who craps in your bed, then blames it all on you. Yeah. But I want to begin with men that have not had that experience and they're single, as in they may not have ever had a girlfriend, and they're single men. They may understand why they prefer to be single, but it's just the pain some may feel through the loneliness, through not having anyone there, not having anyone to share your experiences with, your thoughts and feelings with. All that nice buttery stuff, yeah, sure. It's a normal human need. So to begin, never had a girlfriend and loneliness. You see, something that's been said to me more than once, and men such as myself, is that you at least have the ability to complain about the women you've had in your life. As in, at least you've had women in your life to complain about and say how crazy some of them are. And I would say I understand. Even for the crap I've been through with women, the realms upon realms of crap, yeah. For some men, they may wish they had experienced even that to understand what it's like to at least have a woman. What it's like to at least wake up next to a woman. What it's like to have someone there you could actually talk to, even if she is annoying and barely listens and sparks arguments about nothing because of her own insecurities. You know, even with all the stresses and nonsense men have to deal with, some men would still say at least you got to experience it. At least you know what it's like. And I would understand, because for some men they have forever been lonely. They felt as if they've never had anyone there, in a romantic sense, not as in friends or family, just as in a woman of which they can share life and stuff with. And because of that emptiness, that space-like, void-like emptiness, many men would see life as pointless. They would see life as having no meaning. They would see things in a very nihilistic sense. Even if they understand the fact of modern society and the way things are, the way modern women are, some men would still prefer the fact to at least have the ability to say, I want to be single by choice. Not because I have no choice but to be single, basically. The sad truth is, many men will forever be alone. For some men, no matter what they do, they will forever be lonely. So for some men, their point of view is just, why even bother? Why not just give up now and end it all? Yeah. You know, things are often more amazing before you've actually tried them and had them. You know when you see certain things, or something you anticipate, and you can't wait to have it or get it, and then when you get it, it's just, it's kind of just standard, isn't it? It's nothing that great. Was it really worth the wait? Was it really worth the stress of hoping to get it? Sometimes you find it isn't. Sometimes you find it isn't. There are no quick fixes to loneliness. For many men that have never had a girlfriend, the loneliness is something different, because they have nothing to compare it to. So I do understand that for some men it's far easier to say, I'd prefer to be single, I don't want a damn woman in my life, in my house, in my bank account. But obviously men that can say that have something to compare it to. So for many men that have this internal battle of wanting a woman, but yet telling themselves that they don't want a woman, somewhere along the line you have to figure out what you're going to do. Will you just give in? Will you then try more for your temptation, or will you accept and live your life to the best? The choice is yours. To many degrees, the choice is actually yours. The thing is, no change will happen unless you actually do something. Accept it or make the change, whatever change that may be. Then on to my next point. Never going back, but suffering with the loneliness. As in, you've been there before, you've done it all, you've had the girlfriend, girlfriends, dated, probably lived with a woman, probably been married. One of those scenarios of which you've been there and done it, and for the love of God, you never want to go back. However, the pang of loneliness still exists. You see, the flip side of this spectrum is that some men that have been there and done it, they know what it's like when it's actually good. They know what it's like to be in a relationship, that's working when it's working, and when it's good, and how good it is when it's good. It does feel nice to have someone there when things are working. When they're not, you wish you never met them. That's the thing. You wish you never met this flipping person. Feels as if you've been cursed rather than fallen in love. So it is the knowing, the familiarity of having someone there that could make it difficult for many men to settle in being single. Because even though they can rationalize why they don't want to be in that position again, as in to have a girlfriend or a wife, they still feel the pang of the loneliness, of not having an annoying woman there who's getting on your nerves, but at the same time you're kind of glad she's there because she quells the loneliness, that thing. So for many men, they have the understanding, but yet they still have the memory of having someone there. So of course, that in itself is difficult. And also why it's not surprising so many men just go back. They go back into the dating pool, into the ocean. They go back to the fields. As some would say, they were only just a BJ away anyway, so... But it's more than just the BJ away, it's the loneliness thing as well. Many men can rationalize why and how a woman may get on your nerves, yet at the same time they can rationalize why, she's annoying but I'm glad she's there. So for many men, just choosing to be single is not that easy. It does take a sense of willpower and discipline. It is almost a mastery of self to discipline yourself, basically, to be in that level of focus, to concentrate on your goals and move forward towards them rather than dwelling on how you hoped things may have been. My next point, nothing to do. In being single, some men find themselves feeling lonely because they have nothing to do. You see, on one hand you can say women are very time consuming, they demand much attention and time, but on the other hand you can say that because they take up so much of your damn time, you barely have any time to breathe, let alone be bored. In a sense. So having something to do is important. You see, anyone can be alone, but it's not everyone that does suffer with the loneliness. Being alone is being by yourself. When you suffer with the loneliness, that's when you crave for others to be around you. That's when you fear being by yourself. That's when you may have a need to be around others or someone else. In this particular case, obviously, a woman. Which is very understandable, easily. For many people, loneliness is a dangerous thing. It's not everyone that can just cope and enjoy life by themselves. Some people really do need others in their life to actually function. I wouldn't say it's sad, I wouldn't say it's weak either. But I would say if you have nothing but a focus on the other people and none for yourself, I would say that is the weakness. When you solely have to rely on other people to feel something about yourself. That's not real self-love, self-feeling, self-care. But there is one thing about lonely people. Some lonely people are so by choice, but many are not by choice and they still suffer with it. My question to you, to those of you who have a choice, do you regret your decision to be single? Because you feel lonely? Or do you understand that you feel lonely because you are in the process of adjusting to a new way of thinking, a new you, a more focused you, the you that's less nihilistic and more stoic, the you that knows that, yes, things are the way they are, yet at the same time, I am a man of free will and free choice. Thus, I can do whatever I want. I can feel lonely and dwell on it and let it be so. Or I can see the loneliness as a sense of freedom, where one can be boundless, one can do so much more. But it's to also understand that is not for everyone. Some feel trapped in their loneliness, but for others, when they're alone, they feel free. It just depends on what side of the line you fall on. Doesn't mean you're wrong, doesn't mean you're right. Just means you understand what you want for you. But my God, it is tranquil to breathe the free air. In other words, focus, observe, remember. The world is yours. Have a nice day.